It's time to talk about Darius Garland again. Because the Cleveland Cavaliers have stumbled out of the All-Star break, falling from the best record in the NBA during January to just 5-5 over their last 10 games. Integrating Garland back into the fold has been a challenge, something that is even more difficult when you take into account Garland's struggles from earlier in the season, coupled with a fractured jaw that served as an individual setback while the team around him excelled. Garland is walking back into the party long after it already started, and trying to get himself back in the groove before it's too late. The first half of the season was not kind to DG. He was on pace for a career low in three-point percentage with the worst turnover rate since his rookie season. Garland wasn't taking care of the ball or shooting it with efficiency, the two things that had been his calling cards in the past. But we did see one positive trend emerge during the early months of the season, and that was Garland's finishing around the rim. In his first 20 games, Garland was converting at a career-high rate in the paint, shooting nearly 10% better than his previous best season. It was a point of emphasis for DG to bulk up in the summer, and that added muscle made a clear difference. He was able to absorb contact and finish attempts he previously wasn't capable of.
The Cavs want it. Garland goes to work right to the basket, puts it up and puts it in.
It was another step in his progression from the year before, when Garland made a subtle leap as a finisher and got to the free throw line more than ever. While Garland was shooting just 34% from downtown to open the season, his overall field goal percentage was at a career best 47% because of his scoring inside of the arc. And then, Darius Garland was hit in the face. It's become laughable how many times DG has been struck in the face since Gary Trent Jr. got the ball rolling back in 2022. He'd almost be better off wearing a full suit of armor when charging the court. But a face-to-chest collision with Kristaps Porzingis was the straw that broke Garland's jaw. And in doing so, an all-liquid diet caused Garland to lose all of his precious gains from the offseason. Garland reportedly lost more than 10 pounds of muscle during his recovery, something he won't be able to gain back this season with the Cavs' grueling schedule down the stretch to the playoffs. This loss of weight has been noticeable as Garland is getting pummeled in the paint every time he tries to drive. That efficiency around the basket has plummeted, with Garland shooting 17% inside of two-point range during this recent stretch. All the while, he's only drawing enough contact to get to the line just twice a game, which would be his lowest mark since his rookie season. But while his finishing in the paint has vanished, Garland's touch from beyond it has returned.
Top 6 on the shot clock, gotta get busy. Playing with his food over Caruso. Splash!
Fans beckoned for Garland to attempt more threes, and he has answered the call. Garland has made more pull-up three-pointers than anyone not named Luka since the All-Star break, shooting a blistering 51% on these attempts.
Stewart trying to find room to jack up a three. Will step back now and fire, and that one falls!
Garland is at a 49% clip overall from downtown on nearly 9 attempts per game. That's just ridiculous, and it's one of the hottest streaks of his career to make up for a slow start to the season. Garland still isn't the most assertive player, usually opting to set up his teammates rather than calling his own number, but we have seen that when his shot is falling, Garland becomes more willing to let it fly. For the first half of the season, the most three-pointers Garland made in a single game was just 4. He has passed that mark in each of his last 3 games, hitting 7, 8, and then 5 in Cleveland's most recent loss. Dazzling defenders with a lightning-quick dribble is one thing, but shooting over drop coverage is exactly what I've been wanting to see from Garland. He's too talented of a shooter to allow defenders to play him this way. Look at the distance he lets go of this one against Detroit, and just think about how differently teams will be forced to defend Garland when he's this willing to shoot. And yes, the Cavaliers even ran an elevator play in the year 2024 to set up a clean look for DG. This is all great stuff, but even Garland's playmaking has started to return. He still isn't in peak form, but Garland is dishing 6.3 assists per game since the break while turning it over fewer than 3 times per game. This puts his assist-to-turnover ratio in a much healthier position than it was before, going from 1.5 all the way to 2.6 since returning from his jaw injury. Garland's delivery in the pick and roll has been as good as ever. Darius has always been at his best when he's setting the table for Cleveland's big men, freezing the help defense and throwing lobs better than most players in the NBA, and DG has helped get Mobley and Allen a handful of 20-point games over the last few weeks. This is vintage Garland, snaking through the defense to get a better angle for the lob.
Mobley had left knee surgery on December 18th, and Allen.
And here he is shaking his defender, drawing multiple helpers, and ziplining a dime like it's 2021. Garland has found his magic as a playmaker once again, destroying defenders with his hesitation move and deadly crossover. I still think Garland needs to get the ball out of his hands a little bit quicker and stop probing so much with his dribble, but there's no denying his gift for getting downhill and setting up the bigs. Some of these interior passes lead to turnovers, but the sheer efficiency of getting the ball to Allen right at the rim makes up for most of those mistakes. So Garland is trending in the right direction, but what will it take for him to really reach his destination? Off-ball movement remains the key. Garland needs to be an active member of the offense when he doesn't have the rock. Something like this, where he starts without the ball to get his defender in pursuit as an advantage before getting into an action, is simple enough. And look at that delivery on the pass to Mobley. But we need to see more of this. While Donovan Mitchell has learned to be a better playmaker in order to fit alongside Garland, Garland has yet to show much growth moving without the ball. This is the sacrifice that will be required to make this pairing as good as it can possibly be. But with Mitchell sidelined due to a knee injury and a gauntlet of games against two of the best teams in the NBA coming up, Garland has the task of ramping up his usage once again. He's going to have to score in bunches and play outside of his comfort zone if Cleveland wants a chance to win any of these games. DG has never been the type of player who can carry an entire team on his back, but that's why the Cavs traded for Mitchell in the first place. Garland has to relentlessly search for a way to fit in the run-and-gun offense the Cavaliers discovered in his absence. That means shooting at a higher rate and making more of an effort to generate three-point attempts for his teammates. Rather than trying to squeeze a pass inside, this drive and dime to the corner is what we need to see more of. He'll never be the type of drive and kick threat that Donovan Mitchell is, because of his lack of size and athleticism. But this league is all about adapting, and it's time for Darius Garland to do just that.
Using the Allen screen, takes the three, and it's good, finally. After 20...